gonna get a message out to my milk customers, so that was really the point of this whole video. Easy. Good morning, chickies. Good morning. Hi, Janie. Here's our Janie girl. Hi, Janie. How are you? All right, let's go feed these beef girls. That is my chicken feed. I've got some meat chickens and tractors again, and I like to prepare their feed overnight and soak it at least overnight. I like to do 24 hours and get a quick ferment on it with a little apple cider vinegar or some whey strained off of a yogurt or a cheese that I've made. But I wasn't feeling well last night, and so my evening chores got cut short. Just kind of fed everybody and didn't prepare anything for morning. This is what I'm walking up on. Good morning. These are the beef cows. These are the beef cows. Hello, Miss Rosie. Yes, ma'am. And Miss Belle. And that is our little orphan bull Rip, whom we rescued. You may have seen him previously. He has put some weight on. He's got his winter coat going on, and he's grown out very nice. Old Brutus here is doing good. None of them really love me, but that's okay. Our little longhorn's getting his horns. This is Harry the sheep, the ram sheep. Oh, and Belle's had enough of him. He likes the head butter. And that's Mary back there. Hopefully she's bred. And Kawasaki. He's a cutie. All right. All of the calves are on grain except for Kawasaki. He's just not interested yet, and sometimes that happens. Sometimes it seems like they're born walking right out of their mamas and want grain right away. Sometimes they wait a few months, so he seems to be a waiter on his feed. So this is where I milk, and I came in to this mess. The minimum chores were hastily completed. I actually didn't finish doing things, so I didn't clean this space out. I'm kicking myself now. And also, this water hose seems to have a leak somewhere up here. And if I leave it on, it slow drips. And I've not only now got dirt to deal with, but mud. So I'm gonna have to get this cleaned out before I milk the girls. So that's better. It's dry up here. It's wet back here. This is not perfect. It needs to be pressure washed, truth be told. But you know, it's neat. I won't have mud on my hoses when they come in to milk. Now it's dirty because the cows bring dirt in off their hooves. So you can see how sandy it is out here. And sometimes they do poop in here, but that was all just dirt and spilled feed. So Maple is ready. I'm gonna go get my things ready for her. Maple has been really well behaved lately in the milk stanchion. Watch her prove me wrong today. I hope not. But she's been doing very well with the words that she's learned, specifically step and no. She's been doing really, really well. So, all right, Maple, let's put you to the test. Step, step. Good girl. It's a good girl. That wasn't a kick. You would know a kick. Good girl. I know. So I always grab a new clean rag out of my thermos here. So it's just hot water with a drop of dish soap. Good girl. She doesn't like it when I reach from the back. She's doing good. She's a good Maple. This is what I'm dealing with right here. Good girl. Good girl. Here, kitties. Here you go. So that is the stripped out milk, the beginning squirts out of each teat before I put the milking machine on her. So I've explained this before, but real quick, we clean her udder with clean rags and chlorhexidine. It's just a topical antiseptic. It's used in surgeries a lot. It's a diluted solution. I use it a little stronger than recommended, but this has worked very well for us. It's kept us from ever dealing with mastitis between that, and we use an iodine dip on their teats after we're finished. And then those first squirts go into a bowl, not with the rest of the milk that we use, because the beginning is where she's going to harbor bacteria in the canals of these teats. She doesn't like me just messing with her. Good girl, good girl. I'm going to get to milking. So we're doing things a little differently now. Maple, step. No, step. No, step. Maple, come on, baby. You gotta move this leg back. Only kicks at the cat. It's a brave kitty. Good girl. You're doing good, Maple. Good girl. Okay, she did make a liar out of me. She kicked at a cat. She hasn't been doing that, but when she does kick, it's always at the cat. This isn't a great stance. I like her to stand wider, and I'd like this leg to be stepped back a little bit more, but I'm not going to mess with her too much because I'm trying to do too much at once while vlogging, and I don't want to upset her. So here's what we're doing differently with both of the milk cows. I bought some additional plugs. These are the plugs that go into those inflation cups before we are ready to milk. Before, as they go in there so that the machine can draw suction and the vacuum action can get to working. So I was only using 2 previously, and you can go back in our videos about how we milk and see that. And I used just an empty tube to kind of bypass 2 of these on the pulsator and 2 of these ports on the canister. And I thought that was great, but I didn't have anything to compare it to because before we had this, we've always hand milked. I went ahead and invested in the extra plugs and started using all 4 inflations at the same time, and I am amazed at how much more efficient this machine works by using 4 at a time. So the bypass, while it'll get the job done, and I liked having extra inflations in case they kicked them off and got them dirty, this is so much better. They milk out so much faster, and I'm not constantly throwing feed at them in the feeder so that to keep them busy. So this I'm really liking using 4 at a time. So how do I know when she's done? Well, you can see the tubes are clear. You can see how much is coming out of each one. And I also listen carefully as she starts to finish. You can see how this becomes a little more flat on the teat, and it'll drop some, and then it'll end up pretty high up there. It gets uncomfortable for her and starts to squeak. So you can see this one is done. I'm gonna go ahead and take it off. So when I take them off, the plugs have to go back in to keep suction on the others. All right, easy. So this 1/4 gives a little more, so it takes a little bit longer. You can see it's still giving. So every time we take one of those inflation cups off, here's what they look like up close. We press into the teat to break the seal of the vacuum, and then quickly put the plug in so that the others continue to suction. I hope that made sense. So she's just going to keep doing this for a little bit. Fun little fact about our maple, we had her artificially inseminated last week. So we are new to the artificial insemination process. We've been using it for about a year. We've been pretty happy with it so far. The only thing is, if you're not doing it yourself, you have to rely on a tech. Which I'm happy to do. I'm happy to pay them. They have storage tanks for semen straws, and you know, they know what they're doing. I don't know what I'm doing, so I would like to learn it, but you know, in all the busy things I have going on, I don't see that happening. But so this time that we AI'd Maple, we used 2 straws. This is the first time we have done that. I didn't know that was a popular thing to do. I didn't know that was a wise thing to do. And so through some reading, I asked my tech, and he said, yeah, that's how I do it. I said, oh, I didn't know that. He's had really good luck with just coming out 1 time for all of my girls. Only twice did we have them, or 3 times did we have them not settle. One was that brown Swiss we had, Treasury. And come to find out, those are just harder cows to settle. And I was only using 1 straw at a time because I didn't know better. And then once was Dolly, but that was a timing issue on my end. I hadn't caught her just right. So the second time we AI'd her, she took, and she was perfect. So Maple, we used a straw in the morning, and then we used a straw about 12 hours later that evening. The only thing was we had to use 2 different bowls because before I knew all of this double straw magic, I only had 1 straw of 1 particular bowl in his tank. And then he came out in the evening and he had some other good Jersey line straws that we actually have more of those to use in the future. But so yeah, we use 2 different bowls, 2 different straws. So we can do some genetics testing on the calf when it's born if we want to. It's okay. She saw that cat run past. She doesn't like the cats at all. So when her calf is born, it should be a heifer. We use sexed semen, 90% accurate, and they were both heifer straws. And we will use some tail hair samples to send off for genetics testing, and we can find out who the bull is. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. So we're going to clean her up again. Some spray and wipe. People step. That's the wrong leg. She's been so good. But you know what? You look good. Good girl. Good girl. You're trying now, aren't you? New clean rag. Good girl. So her teats have been actually pretty dry. Get out of here, cat. Go. Shoot. 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 Go. 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 So her teats have been pretty dry. I have some avocado oil I'm going to rub into them, and you'll see a little bit more milk will come out. It's not that she's not finished milking. It's just that there's always something to squeeze out. There's our friend the woodpecker. Good girl. And this is our iodine cup. We squeeze the bottom. It's got a straw in there. So iodine comes into the top of the cup. I'm just gonna dip the very ends. This is actually pretty drying to their skin, like extremely drying to their skin. And since she's already dry, I don't want to cause her any trouble. So just the ends. And that helps protect the openings there from any dirt and nasty bad bacterias from developing a mastitis while those orifices close up. She will create a plug over the next 20 to 30 minutes, and that will help protect her further. So until then, that's what the iodine's for. So if Maple took by egg eye, then she would be due to calf in August. Well, like end of August. Hurricane season. That's how we do it. I wanted to wait and so that we didn't have any summertime babies next year. I wanted to have babies in September, like end of September and later. However, her milk production is so low that I'm basically feeding an animal that doesn't give very much. And you know, just having she's not dry, but it won't be long before she is dry. I hope she carries us along until Dolly calves, because she is drying herself off now, and she will need to be fully dried off in just a couple of months to prepare for her next calving. So I hope she carries us through the next calving in March, and at least keeps my family in milk until then. But I didn't want to have a dry animal who's supposed to be producing to feed for no reason, because that's just time and money. So we made the decision to go ahead and schedule her artificial insemination appointment, and that's what we did. my big girl. Oh gosh. Excuse me. You gotta give me some room. Now Dolly has been standing perfectly. She's a little dirtier than usual. So I really needed to get a message out to my milk customers, so that was really the point of this whole video. Easy. Dolly is our primary producer, and while we were getting about 7 jars of milk, 7 half-gallon jars of milk a day between Maple and Dolly, we're now only getting about 4. So our production has been cut almost in half, and a lot of what they're giving is cream. So Maple, the Jersey cow, who just left, she gives about half cream. So while that's great, I love the cream, I love the butter, I love making ice cream, my milk customers are buying whole milk and not cream. We don't sell cream. We use it for our own family. She's letting down. Her udder's getting very tight, so she's going to be ready to milk. So I wanted to talk about why that is and the several factors that would cause her to reduce production. It could be genetics. It could be climate and the environment, and you know, the season's changing. We don't have very much green grass right now. We had a patchy frost. We're kind of in a drought, so the grass really isn't growing here at the beginning of November. So we have a number of factors with Dolly producing less right now. One is that there's no grass, like I said. So we're bringing in hay. She's getting plenty of long stem roughage. She's not unhealthy. She's very thick actually right now for a Holstein. 2 is she's long in her lactation. So it's November now. In April was 1 year that she was in lactation. So 17 months, that's a long lactation. These cows are bred for commercial purposes to produce for 10 months out of the year and have a 2-month dry period and then produce again. So every year they produce, they get that 2-month dry period and then they produce again. She hasn't had that. She seems to be okay with that this time around, but she's ready to be done. Dolly is pregnant. She's due to calf in March. Now, as I was saying, Dolly's number one thing is that she's due to calf in March. So she needs to dry off by January anyways, so that she can have that 2-month period of a break and her body can get ready for birth and building colostrum again. But sometimes if they've been in a long lactation, we saw this with our Hazel a couple of times as well, they decide sooner that they're done. They've had a good run and it's time for a dry off. So she's starting to do that. Another thing we've seen in the past is sometimes their milk will start having an off taste, even if it's clean and she has a low somatic cell count. It just is, it's hormones and she's done. So we've done that a couple of times before as well, and when that happens, she's just telling us it's time to dry off. So I hope that doesn't happen. I really hope she hangs on until January, but production is down significantly. So the way we sell milk is, first of all, our family, our household gets first dibs. That's why we do what we do, is so that we can have the fresh raw milk and we can make the cheese and the ice cream and the butter and the things that our family uses. So then the extra is what we sell under a feed license. And the way we have done that in the past is that we like to sell to regular customers that come on a weekly basis. That way we're not a store. Like, we don't have a revolving door, although it feels like that sometimes lately. Because we have had so much extra, and our family does consume a little bit less than it used to as far as the dairy goes. But yeah, we like to have regular people. So we have people who decide that they would like to purchase 2 gallons or 3 gallons a week, and we spread them out Monday through Friday and give them a regular pickup day. And as long as we have enough between what we have coming in versus what our family is using, if we have enough extra, then we will sell that. Now, how we decide who we have milk for is who has been purchasing the longest. So they go in order. Right, we've had 9 families we've been selling to Monday through Friday, and the family who has purchased the longest is number 1, and so we will keep them in supply as long as possible. Number 2 comes after number 1, obviously, so as long as we get our milk, number 1 gets their milk, then number 2 will get their milk. And then all the way down the line. So we recently took on several families. Of those 9, 4 or 5 of them were all new, and all at the same time. We've had to tell them, I'm sorry. They all just came on in the last couple of weeks, about the last month, and we've had to tell them all, we won't have milk, I don't think, until March, unless things change. You never know. We're not shopping for a milk cow, like in milk, but if we came across one for a good price who was healthy and disease tested and all of the things that we want, then we wouldn't be opposed to purchasing. But it's not in the budget right now. It would have to be a really good buy or helping somebody out kind of a situation. So we do have some things in the works for bringing on some other cows, but they won't be in milk until it'll probably be a year. So we're working on that. Stay tuned. So that's milking chores in a nutshell as far as actually milking the cows, getting them fed. I'm going to take my canister of milk into the milk room behind me and filter that, get it chilling and jarred and all of that, and get on with my day. So that's all for this one. I may film again later for a separate video, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.